For the hater, for the winner stated, for the statement was never meant to stay, for the something sacred enough, for the let dimension, for the man, for the attention, for the tension, the window sublime, the secret to the sea, the seam to the sides, for the short, for the shy, for the guy, for another crush that couldn't wait for the tail, for another, for the second clock. The last shot for the wrath, for the rebound, for the hunter, for the hunt, to catch up, for the with the fast food, for the fast, for the revolution, to revolt, for the westernized. Constitutes the constituents, for the consideration, for the rash, too close for the sound, for the hearings, for the courthouse, for the due noise, for the corduroys, for the courtrooms. That for the dressing of the language, for the solid talk. That for the metric, for the croutons, for the weight, for the procrastinating, for the cast, for the hate words. Words of hate, for the destination, the faith, for the fatalities, for the allies. Lies fall lazy around, for the square, for the all-state. And mine for the vibe, for the album. Money for the alimony, for the celebrating. For the celebs and the celibate, for the hoots, to take down the master, for the bait. Catfish, for the follow, for the shot, for the hollow wallowers, and the underbatter, for the fish, for the boner, for the bonus, the heart. Hollow for the fillet, for the Italian late night. Linguate for the linger, for the finger, for the in-between, the minute, right and line to loser, for the smart winner, for the winner, with the hurt, for the winner, with the one term. Win for the never, ever, for the never, severely, separating the race. Rat to retort. Rival for getting revenge to the biggest invasions. Vent to the beef and the opposing opposition. Opinion for the initiative, compliments, that for the complaint. Comply, complicated. Compelled enough for communication. Come on, like for the comments and the to come down for the companies to be alone for the store. Stock, fat stock, not share for the dash, for the shatter, for the glass, for the glossary. Lips that look up for the way it was called, for the stuff, for the suck down, for the man, for the minuscule, for the manipulating. For the early catch of the worm, for the catch the phase. Catch the code for the catch you later, for the situation you got caught up and down, for the looking down low, for the laundry, for the download, for the money, mini mics and the micromanaging, for the microdosing, for the dose, like Anaconda, for the why it became so clouded for the society. Social websites for the blind, leading for the dumbfounded, for the claim that should be climatic, for the clitoris to be the eye, for the iris, the risk for the suicide, for the side of the settlement, for what is meant to be settled, for the bill collector, for the assholes and colons. Cool, ate the full of shit for the fed. Government to the babysitting, the baby alone to the Babylon, for the elongated, for the slaughterhouse, for the sheep, for the ship, for the shape to the fits, for the awareness, for the critique, for the participants, for the fun in the mirrors, for the background, that backstab, that ever, for that plea. Backstage the audience to believing it's really over, for the police showed up and this is the shop at the show, for the order, for the no ordinary, the allegiance, for this divine, for the confidence, for the complete compensation, never completely unable to afford the taxes of the interest of the what interests you, for the greedy, for the game, for the show. Greatest show on earth with no circumstances, no circus, no energy. No criteria, no criticism, no criticizing the critique. That belongs to the boutique and the bow tie. Bows to the bow, to the bulls, for the eyebrows, for the follow, for the bits, to the fact, to the false, for the vault, for the vein, for the dye, for the dehydrate, for that, for the eating rate, for the high that, for the hideous act. Spark the tension for the liver dim light. This was the day for the diary, the day for the death, for the eating of the letters, for the paperback, for the covers, the picky banks, for the break the wallet, for the breakup. Reality, relationships, that for the song, for the water, for the shut off, for the could have ended, for the aqueduct, for the tape, for the proof, for the innocent, for the innocence, and the money, the ended, for the case, and that briefly carried the weight. That time to me for the count the money, for the executed, the exit, except that for the con, for the you, for the concept, for the deception, decency, decent enough for the deceit. It's only a starting number for you to be passing for the sentence, for the sin. It's only a starting number.
It's only a starting number for you to be passing for the sentence, for the century, the sense. Pour perfume for the fumigating, the sun for the summoner, for the something for the noun, for the words that gather together, for Jewish the part partially living, for the partition to partition. People to participate, for the nut, for the tired entirety, for the enticing of the entitlement, for the losing of the season, for the championship, for the chimpanzee. Champagne that numbs that pain. Champ that had to drink, for the rain, for the anticipation of the stats, for the states that claim that, for the clown, for the spam. The emails to the patriarchy, for the levers to dispel that cast, for the cast out. Programs to the program, with the advertisers, for the instantly awaiting, for the Instagrams, for the picture, the breastfeeding, for the breathtaking, the kill you, truth, the protest, for the ignorance, for the negotiating, enough for the grants and the boot kits. Loose, they booted the boots, the picture, for the getting me drunk inside the first year, they put the outer, the rounder, for the spinning inside of the order, for the Neanderthal, for the needle, for the all of them, for the negate. Negative emotions to abbreviate. Those are the apps to negotiate the notions and notice that the note was left on the thought. For this was the hope, for the scheming and the scepter, for the scarf, for the karma. Circulating the current, irregular for the current. For the corresponding with the dust in the water, for the bitch, the poop water, for the ain't hard enough for the thug. But that's all the man, the ball, the ballers, for the elaborate, the 11, for the 11, for the playing around with the honey hangman, for the hungover, dry human. Human, and just to be the middleman for the human. Animal style for that, for the dive through. Long last line, I mean it for the order, for the car, for the rich ride, for the rich kid dies, and the church is the chicken after the church special that's over, for the after the church services, meaning the certitude, for the certain circumstances for the circumcised. Sir, come into me for this is the circumstances for the standing in between the weekends and the windows of opportunity. I am not for the understanding.
you to be passing for the sinners for the century.
There's a lover in my head, and there's a stranger in my bed.
What?
Thought I knew those eyes.
What do you have? There's more for the looking inside out. Those are the rising for the morning and the day. For the after the yesterday, that's unless you can rest. Invest in that, invested for the destroying the future like the testicles of the testifying. The birth of the day for the earth, for the dirt dome. Dumb dust stood still for the mud, for the evidence, for the nut, for the spirit, for the baby, the down ground up. Set aside for the die, for the life, for the sacrifice, for the sacred, for the seer, the fear for the forefathers, for the rob, the gender, for the pronouns. Rapper that pronounce that unidentifiable lack, for the announcements, for the arrogant, the negligent enough for the chances they end up with the gents of the yazim of the womb, for the eye, and not to be granted in the alpha, nor that they act the opposite, split that better for the summers of the serene. Prayer for the superhero, for the biblical action figure set for the didn't wept for this enough for the slept counted for the sheep that slept. Sleep, eyes match the match made the made. Internet for that we called the inmates. These for the researcher for the mating, for the no master to debating, for the this to the depth, for the deprivating, for the dead press. Recession, recently recess, receiving nil into the investment. That to be the invention for the asset for the add-ons. Addition for the diction for the jurist. Jurisdiction for the jurisdiction who described the dictionary for the additive. Direct for the disposition for the dictated. Describe that for the farmer, for the pharmaceutical flavor shorty. Enough is suitable, enough for the dressing up, for the addressing, for the denouncing and the denoted. Denomination for the dominant. These to be the heart, for that was the door, but enough for the declaration, for the reputable, for the reputed, for the surprise to suppress. Succeeded for the leadership, for the least to be the leading, for the sinking into, for the even though the leaking leaks. Leaks the legally eye for the legating, for the lies of the spies, for the spines, for the spectator, for the specifically specified, for the crusader, for the only the crucified. Lies of the rest room, for the ship, for the your chest, like the fake breath. Leave for the eating, for the only the will be the written harmonies and the antonyms. Free for the anomalies, for the free your breath, for the heaven, for the while waiting for the exhale. Yeah, for the free, for the dental care, for the free, for the really wanna quit. You can find that for the circumstance, for the circumcised, for the circulator, for the circular, for the system, for the circle, I'm accumulated. Accused of that for the aggravated. Sexually like a GMO for the aggro, made it for the making of the okay, for the equation, for the middle, for the middle ground, for the middle east, and the middle terms, for the midnight, for the mid-air. Miss of the middleman, for the mid, for the evil, for the disguise, to the medieval, for the renegade, for the renegotiating, for the renaissance, for the rancid acts, ran repeatedly to the wall. Died up for the man cries, and the matter for the maniacs who crucified their archives. Arc for the rivals for the arrive, not for the be the arrogant array for the rare ends. Not to be the color for the crayons, but who's about it for the good, for the eons, enough for the irony, for the iron, keep it neat to the needle, for the kneeling and the pray. What do you have to hold? There's more for the look
Stranger in my bed.
I never did one of the sentiments for you to be radical, Joe.
I won't know until the morning comes. until the morning.